And of course, you start once I start making that face.
Welcome to our panel discussion about the importance of self-care. The panelists that are here, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, and whoever wants to go first can go first. Okay, Bethany, I guess it's on you. Selena muted herself.
Okay. My name is Bethany. I am from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and I will give you my Instagram handle so y'all can follow me at BT Stylings of Bethany.
Bethany, what is it that you do?
I am a part-time hairstylist, and I also work for the city of Virginia Beach.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Selena?
Well, since you've already said my name, I am Selena. I am in Severn, Maryland, born and raised in Washington, D.C. Let's see. I am a computer networking engineer. And is that all I need to say, or is there something else? Okay, great.
I definitely was talking and I definitely thought my mic was on, but I was saying that's it. That definitely sums it up. All right. So one of the things about taking care of yourself is sometimes we can be our own critic, right? Sometimes we're super hard on ourselves. How do you deal with those situations where you are overanalyzing and being overly critical of yourselves?
Okay, well, I'll start. I am that person. I am super critical of myself. I don't need anybody else to tell me if I did a good job or a bad job because I'm always tell myself, girl, you can do better. But I've gotten to a point where if I feel like I didn't do a good job, I say to myself, okay, if you feel like you didn't do a good job, you can get it better. You can do better the next time. I've started talking to myself better. I've started I've started letting myself feel my feelings and say, "Hey,
Mhm.
it's okay to feel this way. Pick yourself up. You got this. Next time around, you got this." And I've learned to set myself up and make sure that I can encourage myself without anybody telling me, girl, you got this, you good. I can tell myself that. And it helps me. It helps me get to a better state of mind. It helps me, it actually shows me how I treat myself with other people, how other people treat me. I'm kind of at a place where I'm like, I don't like that. So when I started treating myself better, I started commanding, with other people, no, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with you the way that you're dealing with me. Talk to me better
Mhm.
because I talk to myself very
Mhm.
well. And you're not going to talk to me a certain type of way.
Mhm. I like that.
Yeah, I'm that part. I'm definitely 100% on 100%. What you're not about to do is talk to me like you crazy. But of course, in a professional manner, I think for me personally, my job is high stress, especially during around the time that we have auditing. And sometimes it's hard to remember that it's okay for you to make mistakes. But honestly, in the field that I'm in, it's very obvious when you make a mistake because someone goes down,
Mhm.
someone loses internet. But one of the things I am is sometimes I can be a perfectionist. And it's gotten to
Mhm.
the point I've seen a post where it said, it's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for you to try again. And as a perfectionist, that's very hard for us to do because we always believe in doing it right the first time. You won't have to do it
Mhm.
again. So the best way for me to remind myself that it's okay and that I'm not trash if I mess up is to honestly have little post-it notes sitting on my mirror that reminds me
Mhm.
that I'm still human, that I am perfect, but I'm not flawless, that I don't make, that I'm still human, I still make mistakes. And even surrounding myself with people who catch those mistakes and who encourage me, that's a huge benefit in my self-care, helping me to encourage myself as well.
I love the fact that you said that you have the notes because in the group mentoring with the girls, I had them create 7 positive self-talk statements that they carry around with them. That if they're having a bad day or they're feeling a certain type of way, they just pull out their statements and they're able to say what the card says. Like repeat it to yourself 5 times. And when you do that 5 times, it takes you out of that mindset of the failure piece. But a lot of times it's okay to fail. Like we've got it twisted. We've learned it wrong. We've learned that we shouldn't fail. And because of that, like that puts a lot of stress and anxiety on us to make us want to be perfectionists, right? Or to make us listen to what other people are saying. We're now, I'll speak for myself in my 30s, having to retrain my brain, retrain myself to be, oh, it's okay, Marquita, to make those mistakes. It's okay to not be a perfectionist. It's okay to not listen to other people. And my favorite thing now is no is a sentence, period. I don't need an explanation after it. So thank you so much for your input. I truly enjoyed those answers. You ladies are the best. So along those lines, what are your expectations for yourself and how do you set them?
So I'll go first. Some of the expectations that I have for myself when it comes to self-care is, of course, implementing boundaries. For me, that is huge. And honestly, this year I have dedicated to myself, implementing those boundaries, not just personally, but also as far as my job is concerned, making sure that I know that, listen, it's okay for me to stay at this specific time, but if I have something to do, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do what I need to do, because you can't continuously keep me here and think that I don't have a life. Another goal that I have for myself when it comes to self-care is to honestly say that it's okay to talk to someone, and someone professionally. It's okay to speak to a therapist. It's okay, and it, in no way, shape, or form does it make you weak. And this is the first year that I've started actually doing therapy. And for me, that was huge because I always thought and saw that as a form of weakness. And that's how I just was always, that's how I just thought of it. And in the Black community, that's such a stigma. And that's something that needs to be changed quickly and more efficiently, because mental health is huge. Even in someone who doesn't have any record of mental health, we all have issues. We all have dealings with we all have room to grow, right? Yes. And so, and with that, I think it's huge that we implement a therapist, and that should be the standard. So those are a couple of things that I have as far as my goals.
Those are amazing. The boundaries piece is a huge piece, and I think we all need to learn that. I think that's something that we should be teaching to our youth is set boundaries and stick to them. It's okay.
You're right. It's definitely huge to not just have those boundaries, but to implement those boundaries.
Before we go on, Bethany, I will tell you that the link is not working. So I put the link into the copy. I put the link into the chat. So if you want to copy that to send to your people, you can do that. Hello, Paul. Welcome. Before we go on, we'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I was a little slow. I didn't click the join button, so I'm sitting there looking at myself, wondering what's going on. But I'm here. My name is Paul. I am the cousin of Marquita, Igaya, and Bet. Hey, Bet. Hey, Selena. That's my introduction. That's it.
You know, laughing is good for self-help too. I mean, self-care too. I appreciate a good laugh. So what is it that you do for a living?
For a living, well, I am currently an electronic technician, working at the shipyard, Newport News. Um, that's what I do.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to let you know what the question is that's on the table. And if you and Bethany would like to, whoever would like to go first to answer, then you can do so. The question was, what expectations do you set for yourself?
Expectations do I set for myself? Um, I tend to have very high expectations of myself. Um, I'm sometimes I guess I'm considered a perfectionist. I just sometimes want everything to be perfect and right. Um, if I get something wrong or um, am not aware of things, then I tend to beat myself up about it, um, which I am working on. I have been working on for a while now. But on the other end of that, um, I really haven't lately. I haven't been expecting much from myself. Just kind of been simplifying life, um,
Mhm.
and learning that life is not as complicated as we tend to make it,
Mhm.
and just take it one day, at a time. And I would say living in the moment. Um, that's it.
I think that's a good answer. I think Selena has hit on that too, also about being a perfectionist, and setting high expectations for ourselves because we want it done right the first time. Um, so thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I agree with all of that, um, especially setting and implementing the boundaries. Um, I'm very big on people feeling like if I want to give people my time,
Mhm.
I'm very big on that. Simply because all the time I don't have energy to deal with people. I don't have energy to make people feel good because sometimes I don't feel good. Sometimes I don't have the energy to help me. So how can I help
Mhm.
somebody else? So my number one priority when it comes to implementing those boundaries is making sure I'm not pouring from an empty cup.
I definitely like that. I will say I think like I was saying, like we've learned a lot of things wrong and we have to reteach ourselves things. We owe nothing to no one. The only thing we owe is to ourselves, right? And so if we're to fix and pour into other people and we're gonna always end up on the empty side. Always, because who's gonna replenish our cup like us? Nobody. Who's gonna love on us like us? Nobody. Who's gonna care for me like me? Nobody. Like people can say they understand, people can say they have your back, but in my experience, 9 times out of 10, those people have not shown up to do exactly the things that they said they have. But on the flip side, I've been that person that's been there. You know what I mean? So thank you. I appreciate that. Um I got a whole list of questions sitting right here, so I'm trying to decide what question I want to ask y'all. So if anybody want to chime in or say anything, ask a question or anything, please do so. Don't make it me seem like I gotta be the one to ask all the questions. I like a good conversation, you know.
I do.
No?
When
Okay.
just to add to what Bethany said, as well as what you said, Keita, um, having the energy to deal with other people can sometimes be difficult, because, like Bethany said, you don't have the energy to deal with the things that you're going through with yourself, within yourself. And a lot of times with self-care, you have, I guess it can be borderline in taking care of self or being selfish. And a lot of people sometimes define that as, they define it based on the beliefs of others, or a social or a group definition as far as what self-care is. But taking care of yourself really means just that. It's taking care of yourself. Not It's not that you don't care about what others think. It's not that you don't care about others and their feelings. But the most important thing to realize is that you come first in everything. That's one thing that I'm learning that life is about. And it's not so much as being selfish, it's just a mentality that counteracts what we're always taught, and to care for others first. So we have to, I guess, get out of that mentality, and in promoting self-love. You have to put yourself first, because you matter. Regardless of what everybody or anybody else says, you matter, and you can't second guess that. It's not something that depends on anybody else's ideas or anybody else's feelings. It deals with you. And only when you do that, and then you can, cater or deal with, other people. But until you work on yourself and do, some kind of inner work, and realize the importance of taking care of yourself in all kind of ways, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you'll just constantly be stuck in, I guess, the ways of, the world, so to speak.
And I just want to add to that. I've been told a couple of times by older generation, that the generations, underneath them are selfish, because all they care about is self-care and all this other stuff. But with self-care comes higher self-esteem, higher self-awareness. There's a lot of things that come with figuring out what you like and what you don't like, what you'll deal with, what you won't deal with. There's a lot of things that you can do to make sure that you are doing the right thing for yourself, so you can help other people. Because how can you pour from an empty cup? We go through things to build us up and to continue to help us grow. Yes, but at the same time, if you're not healing and dealing, you're going to keep pouring from an empty cup. You're going to keep trying to give something that you don't have. So taking care of yourself boosts that self-awareness. It boosts your self-esteem. So in turn, you can say, if somebody is going through something, you can say, hey, I've been there. I can empathize with you. This is what helped me. And I'm going to give you something that might help you. I'm going to try to give you tools that might help you. There are things that we go through just for that specific reason. But if we're not healing through that, and if we're not helping ourselves get through that, we're not going to be any good to anybody else.
No good. No good at all. I 100% agree. I I was looking up questions and things so that I can have things to talk about when we got on here. Although self-care in itself, because I 100% love this topic, can talk about it for hours on hours. Like the song, but whatever. When you said that self-care is sometimes mistaken for self-indulgence, like when I read that, I was like, it definitely can be, because when you start saying no and you start saying, I'm gonna do this for myself, it's always, oh, you being selfish. Oh, why? I just want to know, why is it that I'm selfish when I'm trying to take care of myself, that I'm trying to make sure that I'm okay, that I don't have a mental breakdown today, that I don't have a lupus flare. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain why I'm doing things when I say no, or when I say I can't do. So I think that's a really good point of stop confusing self-care with self-indulgence, because that's not always the case. There was this quote that I saw up here that I thought was good. It says, when you discover something that nourishes your soul, nourish your soul and bring you joy. Care enough about yourself to make room for it in your life. So when you hear that, what do you hear?
Read it one more time.
When you discover something that nourishes your soul and brings you joy, care enough about yourself to make room for it in your life.
Okay. So for me, that goes to my famous saying, you make time for the things that you want. Why not do something that you enjoy, and then of course indulge in it? It's okay for you to indulge in it. And it's interesting, I also wanted to say before I had to leave real quick, Paul had mentioned about being selfish, that sometimes people say that it's being selfish, it's about being self-care. That's always been a stigma. And I think that's something that needs to be changed as well, because there is such a thing as healthy selfishness, right? And so, like you said, Paul, we can't do anything, and even Bethany said it, we can't do anything for anyone else if we can't do it for ourselves. And when finding something that we love, of course, continues to fill us up. And as we fill up, we can then give something else to someone else. So I definitely believe in that whole, once you find something, basically just indulge in it. Throw yourself in it.
I can agree with that. To add to that, and to the quote that you read, Marquita, twice. So when you are, a lot of times it has to do with what we're taught and how we're taught. Like I said before, of course, all of us have been raised by a lot of people that have been much older than we are, and they have certain ways. They're set in certain ways, and we sometimes repeat, what we see, and what they tell us, and how they raise us. So I think one of the biggest problems that we have is, I guess, trying to find our own way, in society, and trying to hold on to the values that we're taught, but also trying to make a way, for ourselves and make our own way. So a lot of times we do get stuck in trying to appease our elders. But that's just something that we I don't want to say we have to break away from, because a lot of things that they taught us have been wise teachings, but I do think that critical thought and thinking for yourself is very important, and change is necessary for self-care. So to add to what you've been taught, I think is a form of creativity, and it's a form of growth. So once you combine the two, I think that's where you start to find yourself. Taking little nuggets from what you have learned, building on it, and just living out what you feel is best for you. It's not so much. It's not going to always be living the way that you think somebody thinks you should live, and I think that's also a big stigma in society today. Always thinking about what others think of you and what you're doing. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But that's how we've been programmed. So that's just one of the things that we have to break. And that's one of the first things that should be broken. And it's not an easy thing to do, because you have so many years of the programming, so many years of that training, that when you think about it, and you think about breaking free and trying to come into your own, you always have that thought in the back of your mind, well, this is not right because it wasn't done this way with me coming up. It wasn't taught to me this way. So you just have to get away from, I don't want to call it cognitive dissonance, or I don't know what to call it, but to get away from that. Go ahead, Keita, because
I wasn't about to say anything. I'm laughing at you because you was like, I don't want to call it cognitive dissonance, but I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, because when you have cognitive dissonance, you're believing in something you're not. When you have that, you are denying what's true within yourself based on what was taught to you. Even though what was taught to you may not have been the right thing and the proper thing, you're still going to go along with it because it's what you've been taught. So, in a nutshell, I think self-care has a lot to do with mental health as well.
I agree. Selena, you were going to say something?
I can see it as a form of reconditioning. And then, of course, just to even add on to it, honestly, we have to evolve. And times change, conditions change, lifestyles change. And with each generation, they get pummeled with so much more that we have to evolve. Without evolution, we die. So with each generation, we have to learn, and we have to change our perception. We have to change our thinking. Not to say, like you said, not to say that our parents didn't know what was best, because at that time, that was what was best for them. But for us now, like you said, mental health is key. I mean, we see it now even in the Olympics, right? We see it in our day-to-day children. My children were on a lockdown yesterday because they had 2 students bring BB guns to school. So, and in that, they had, they were kind of traumatized behind that. So, of course, we had to talk about that. And back in my day, when that stuff happened, you didn't really talk about it. It was brand new. You know what I'm saying? So it was. This is something that needs to be addressed. And mental health, even at a young age, needs to be talked about. Mental health at a young age, and you need to have counseling, and that's acceptable for their age, for any age, honestly. And I think that's huge.
100% in agreement with the critical thinking and us now getting to a point where we're starting to think on our own, right? Like we're not allowing other people to think for us. And yeah, the teachings that they taught us were good, right? Because we didn't know. Like we didn't know and we weren't, I'm not gonna say we weren't taught because my mama always made me think for myself and always made me make a decision on my own, regardless of if I wanted to or not, and how much I wanted her to make the decision for me, she would not do it, even to this day. So it was forcing me to think for myself, right? But everybody does not have that. Everybody doesn't have the parents saying, no, you have to think. No, it's you do what I say do, and don't ask me no questions because I'm the parent, you the child. Stay in your place or you're going to get this. You know what I'm saying? But we have got to move away from that because we are teaching our kids to not think at all, to not know for themselves, and everything that they need, they have it. But we have to teach them to think for themselves and also still in a way be like, you know what I'm saying? Like that might not be right, but what if we tried it this way along with what you did? Is that right? I think I just read this book, the book that I sent you, Paul, and that book just took me into a whole nother place and space that I didn't even think about things from that way. And so like I'm there with y'all, and the mental health piece. I've always been there because I've worked in special education and I've always worked with kids. So I've always seen that mental health was real. And I think that as a community also, we don't want to give our kids the medicine and things because we don't understand it, or we don't want to say that they have these things because we don't understand it. But getting the help that they need at an early age can help them later in life.
I just wanted to add on to what everybody was saying. I agree with all of that, what was being said. And I also, for me, the quote is one of those things where why wouldn't you want to do what brings you peace? Why wouldn't you want to indulge in what brings you a sense of passion? There's something about doing things that you love, doing things that make you feel good, that makes you feel good about yourself. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to indulge in your peace? So that was just my little 2 cents.
I love it.
We
Snap, snap.
appreciate your 2
Snap,
cents,
snap.
honey. This will be our last question. For you, what does it mean to relax? Something as simple as relaxing. What does that mean? So none of y'all relax?
Okay.
What is that word?
I'll start. I'll start. For most, I'll say for most women, pampering is where they relax. Getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting your feet done, massages, whatever. That's cool. That's fine. For me, relaxing is writing. Relaxing is reading a book. I'm a very chill person. I'm very mellow. I like to do stuff that is going to jog my mind. I like to do crossword puzzles. I like to do word searches. I'm a little bit of a nerd, just not in the regular sense of a nerd. Like I could probably be a little bit of book smart, but I ain't gonna put that on myself. I'm gonna just say I like to do games. I like stuff that's going to jog my brain, like make it work. You know what I'm saying? I like to do things like that. Use my imagination. I've done some pottery classes. Like I really was into that. Like that was relaxing to me. Going to paint, sipping paint, anything like that to me is relaxing because I get to enjoy myself and not worry about anything else going on. I get to, back to the quote, I get to indulge in my peace.
I agree with Bethany. It's a lot of that is the same for me. Picking up a book or just reading news, reading anything really, just to gain more knowledge, is relaxing to me. Um, Word games, writing, poetry is relaxing to me. Just sitting, doing nothing, not even thinking, as hard as that may seem, but just sitting in a space and spacing out, I guess you can say, is relaxing because it just allows me to be me, um, laying in the bed watching a movie, or um, mm, not really an outgoing person, but spending time, with family is relaxing to me. Um, that's pretty much it for now.
For now.
Okay, so
So it can change.
For now, I know. I mean, it's more, but I don't want to take up everybody's time.
I think it can definitely change, especially when you get older. Because some of the stuff that I love now definitely did not apply years ago.
No.
Like, I mean, I can say I do love reading a good book. God knows I love a good horror story right before I go to bed with a glass of wine. Listen, that is the stuff.
With a glass of wine. Good old wine and horror movie.
All right, now I'm
We
reading
got ya.
Stephen King's It.
That's what you're reading now?
And yeah. And then the other thing that I love to do, absolutely adore, that calms me down, especially when I have an extremely stressful day, is working out. I love to go to the gym. And so for me to run out any type of stress that I have throughout the day, dealing with my darling teenage boys, definitely making them work out with me, and the way that they always mess up the workouts and make me laugh during it is is an experience within itself. But also to add in, to take one of Paul's, spending time with family, that's huge for me. Making them, because they're teenagers, and of course they don't like to come and spend time with mom anymore, but I make them come and sit and watch a movie with me or play game night. And so I'll whoop their behinds in Uno, or no mercy over here. But just overall, those are just a few things. Of course, there's plenty more, but those are just a few things that really relax me.
Don't do my boys like that. Don't do them like that.
It's savage,
You know
on
what I'm
this
saying? Don't
side.
be putting their business out here for the people to hear how you be whooping them in the card
Whooping
games
their
and
tails.
they messing up. You ain't supposed to tell the people that they messing up on the workouts. Now they probably think they're doing something in there. You and else laughing at them.
We truth tellers over here.
I will honestly say, when I do work out, it ain't often anymore. But when I was working out, I would agree with you, Selena. Like, it's like the best. Like, my mind is focused on the workout, but then it's just like everything that made me mad today, I'm just getting it out. Every time I hit something, boom, you know what I'm saying? Thinking a person's face, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? It just does something for me. But I will say also, spending time with family. Sometimes it's hectic. And a lot of times I'm be honest, I be like, I don't want to go. And then after I've gotten there and I'm there and I'm in it, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I came. And it's time to go. Man, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I needed. And I didn't think that I needed it, but I needed it, right? I'm a 100% family, 100%, even though I be trying to act like I'm not. And I'm like, they get on my nerves. I'm not coming, you know what I'm saying, talking all my junk, whatever. But I know that I need my family, period, right? And then another thing, I like reading the book too, I ain't even gonna lie. But I really like doing is not having to think. To get on the bed and turn the TV on and truly don't have to think about anything and watch that TV. My mind is all the way relaxed. So relaxed, I'm sleeping 5 minutes. Okay, you hear me? Like that
Won't
is
even know
very
point.
relaxing for me. Huh?
Won't even know point in turning on the movie.
Oh no, because I didn't even see it. Not one piece of it. All I saw was the theme music and the title come across the screen. The next thing I know, I was
Oh, this looks
relaxed.
interesting.
And that was just a trailer.
Ooh, that's what I call relaxed, honey. So Igaya was up here. She is my VP for Mac Mentoring. It's a mentoring program that I do for girls 3rd grade through 12th grade. She is my VP, so I'm having her do a lot of things and be in a lot of places and spaces. And she was our moderator, even though the streaming did not work. It's okay. It's some growing pains, and we're gonna get it together. However, I do want her to talk about what she does for a living, introduce herself, also because it's still being recorded, and also tell us how she relaxes.
This was not in our conversation at
I
all.
know.
Hello, everybody. My name is Igaya. I am a overnight manager at Walmart. I relax. I do everything everybody says. I don't watch horror movies with wine, but I will put a good comedy movie on with wine, and I will relax. I do read. I do write. I'm in the process of writing. Um,
What are you writing?
I'm writing a book.
Yay!
Yeah. It's like a
The
tell
Adventures
all.
of Cam is that?
That's going to we're in the process of trying to start a channel because the things that they do are just hilarious. And now since we have baby Jamal with us, we could probably include him too, because all three of them together, it's relaxing, but it's a headache too. But I spend time with them as well, or I just go to the lake. I like nature. Nature is a big thing. So if I've had like a really stressful week, I find myself taking that drive 45 minutes across town and just sitting in the lake, relaxing.
That's good. I'm not doing that, but that's really good. I'm scared of
Yeah,
the
it's a little
bugs
too
and all
cold
that.
over here.
Cold. Wait till the heat come, boy. I'm like,
You
ooh,
gotta sit,
Jesus.
sometimes you can sit in your car and just put the little heat on.
I can.
Yes, but
I can
it's
go sit
worth
in
it.
the car. I can sit in the car right now, downstairs.
Gas prices. I'm sorry.
Gas $4.19.
Gas is $4.70 over here. Okay.
Can't be wasting that gas now.
Right.
No, I ain't did it since the gas went up now, but
You better go to the lake.
you know,
That's
for the week I went to the lake.
Go to the lake on a horse.
What you say, Paul?
Go to
Did you say you about to go on a horse?
go to the lake on a horse. Giddy up.
I'm gonna fill that bathtub up there and pretend that
Child, listen, you better pull up a lake on the computer and just zone out that way.
And turn on YouTube water noises or nature sounds or something. Close your
That's
eyes.
it.
But I
Use
thank
it.
you
Your
guys
imagination
so
is
much.
key.
What you say?
Your imagination is key.
Imagination is it. Paul told you, use your creativity now.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming on with me. I really appreciate you all so much. And for your participation, I will be sending you all a massage through Massage Envy. I think it's gonna come to your email, but I'm not really sure. So that's something just for you all to at least try to get some kind of relaxation. And a thank you for participating in the self-care discussion with me. I really appreciate you guys. I don't know how to do the little heart thing. Thanks.
You gotta work on that. You look like a circle, Keita.
right after that, not like no heart.
Talk to Bethany or Selena. They had it right. Get a little training session going on. Something.
Oh God.